Abass Baraou. Abass Baraou, the Togolese German fighter, now WBA interim 154-pound champion, just pulled off a big old upset. And it was an upset. But I told y'all it was going to be a great fight. I told you y'all were counting him out. Oh, you don't believe me? Check this out. Roll the footage.
Hello, I'm Dr. Boxing Talk. Yes, I'm really a doctor. That's why they call me Doc. I have two questions. One for Mr. Baraou. I know that some people may not be too familiar with you, and Yoenis Tellez is actually one of my favorite up-and-coming boxers. I really anticipate him to become a full title holder once Terrence Crawford vacates. Do you feel like you're being counted out, considering that you do have some great experience and you lost a split decision to Jack Koke, who just lost to Baraou Murtazaliev, who's a full champion? So your experience is nothing to be tossed away either. So how do you feel about your chances in this fight, and how do you feel people are giving you credit to even be competitive?
I know I'm competitive myself. I think I focus on the opinion of my team. You know, I'm in the gym working out, and I know what I bring to the table. I don't feel counted out. The real people who knows about boxing, they have an eye on me. So, and I believe in myself, and I believe I'm at the right place.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight, man.
Yeah, man, he did his thing. I knew this fight was going to be good, and he wanted that victory. He wanted that fight. But this next fight on the horizon against Jermell Charlo, who's been 2 years out the ring, he's going to really need to want this fight too to be competitive for real. But a lot of people feel like no matter how bad they might want it, Jermell Charlo's not deserving of it.
Yeah.
But I beg to differ. Let's discuss.
Hello guys, this is Rolly Romero.
Yo, my name is Yoenis Tellez. What's up guys, it's Yoenis Tellez.
Here with Bob Santos Boxing.
And I rock with Dr. Boxing Talk.
I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk.
And I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk. Thank you for all the love, thank you for all the support.
You're rocking with Dr. Boxing Talk. Get your daily news from my man right here, the best in the business. Let's get it, baby.
All day, baby.
Amen.
Bam!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you'll say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? Welcome back to your favorite boxing news channel, Dr. Boxing Talk. We are back for another YouTube video banger, man. Yes, sir. Yes, man. I don't know what time it is. Doctor's in the house, man. So check this out. But before we do, let's do what we always do, and that's smack that like button. Let's do it together. Appreciate you. That helps us to keep going and growing on this YouTube platform. Hey, did y'all peep the intro though? Your boy doing his thing, man. Shout out to MVP Promotions for getting us out there for the event as credentialed media, you know what I'm saying, based off our own merit. We ain't have to ride nobody's coattails, ain't piggyback off nobody, got it off the strength. We get the hustle off the muscle. So thank God for that, and thank y'all for the support. Let's keep going, man. This is just the beginning. Shout out to Bob Santos. Shout out to Nonito Donaire. Shout out to Xander Zayas. Shout out to Rolly Romero, Rollies, and everybody else I spoke with. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody, but especially them for contributing to the intro and showing love and support and actually being familiar with the channel too. That was dope, you know. But let's get to this talk about Abass Baraou. You know, the Togolese fighter. Like I say, he's from Togo in West Africa by way of a European country, Germany. That's where he resides. He resides in Germany, right? So shout out to him. He put off an upset against Yoenis Tellez, you know, at the 154-pound division. You know, he took that belt up off him, that interim belt. And a lot of people anticipated that Yoenis Tellez after this fight would be elevated because obviously Terrence Bud Crawford, who's the full WBA champion after beating the former undefeated Israel Madrimov when he won that belt. You know, we know that he's going to get, you know, stripped of that belt once he fights Cinnamon, you know, in September, right? So once that fight happens, we were like, okay, bet Yoenis Tellez is going to join, you know, the WBO champion Xander Zayas, the IBF champion Baraou Murtazaliev, WBC champion Sebastian Fedora, and all that good stuff in bonbons. But Abass Baraou, the brother out of Togo, you know what I'm saying, representing Germany, he had other plans, man. And that's what I asked him. I said, man, a lot of people are counting people out, man. Y'all got to remember, this is boxing. You have to respect the game. A lot of these fighters aren't going nowhere, man. They're not coming to lose. They're not coming to mail it in or pack it in. They believe in themselves. And if you are familiar with Abass Baraou, like your boy was, Abass Baraou only had one loss coming in. And that loss wasn't by knockout. It wasn't by stoppage. It wasn't by TKO. It was by a split decision. And that was against Jack Koke. And the IBF champion Baraou Murtazaliev, he acquired his belt from beating Jack Koke. You see what I'm saying? So Jack Koke is not a slouch either. And Abass Baraou, you could argue that he should be undefeated right now. It depends on how you look at it. I don't have a problem with the victory going to Jack Koke, but I'm saying it was that close. It was razor thin, right? So Abass Baraou was no pushover. And he definitely showed us that he wasn't. You know, I just think he wanted it a lot more than Yoenis Tellez did. I don't think Yoenis Tellez was ready for that type of aggression, that type of willpower, and that type of just, you know, he was just very motivated, man. He asserted himself, and he really just took over that fight and stopping him he dropping him in a clutch moment in that 12th round, man. It was very crazy, man. Abass Baraou, he just had the spirit of, I'm not going.
I'm not going like that. I'm not going like that. I'm not going like that. I'm not going like that.
And he showed us that he wasn't going. I'm talking about, so shout out to Abass Baraou. Now on the horizon for him, you know, he is an interim champion now, probably going to be elevated to full. But Jermell Charlo, you know, has been talking about coming back and, you know, joining the 154-pound division where he belongs, you know, being former undisputed. And he could potentially get that fight next. A lot of people are reporting this, a lot of reputable sources, you know, that's what they're saying. And I'm not mad at this fight happening. Now, I know a lot of people will be mad because they're like, oh, Jermell Charlo, he's been gone. You know, he's been on hiatus. He's been on sabbatical. He's been missing in action, you know. But I'm not saying that it's right, but I understand it, and I do think it's justified. Like I said, Jermell Charlo, he's coming off of a 2-year hiatus, yeah, but he lost to one of the one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in Saul Canelo Alvarez, aka Cinnamon. He is the face of boxing. You know, the top 3 is Terrence Bud Crawford, Alexander Usyk, Naoya Inoue. Then you could say, you know, 4 or 5 is, you know, Bivol or Bam Rodriguez, but you got to say Cinnamon's in there for the top 10 for sure, in no particular order, you know. So I'm saying that Jermell Charlo losing to Canelo Alvarez while moving up is not that big of a deal. Now, to me, the biggest deal is the fact that he's been removed from the ring for 2 years. However, we've seen other fighters get title opportunities being further removed from the ring. We just saw Manny Pacquiao challenge Mario Barrios for his WBC belt at the 147-pound division, right? He got a title shot. Was he out the ring for a long time? Absolutely, he was. You know who else was out the ring for a long time who was going to get a title shot? That was Keith One-Time Thurman. Remember, he was supposed to fight Tim Tszyu for his unified belts. And then he injured his bicep, and Sebastian Fedora stepped in his place. And speaking of Sebastian Fedora and Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fedora was coming off of a knockout loss to Brian Mendoza. Now, it was late notice, so it's okay. But did he really deserve a title shot? You could argue that, right? So let's go with Sebastian Fedora, still keep it going, right? With Tim Tszyu lost that fight, so he lost his belts, WBO and WBC at the time. Then he turned around and got a fight with Bakram Murtazalia for the IBF belt. So he got back-to-back title shots coming off of losses, right? And then he fought Joey Spencer and then turned around and got a rematch title shot against Sebastian Fedora again. So 3 out of 4 fights were for titles. I don't have a problem with that. But what I'm saying is that these things happen. So you got to choose your battles wisely, because if you're mad at Jermell Charlo, then you have to be mad at quite a few. Not to mention that the 118-pound division, I know a lot of us, not including myself, you know, excluding myself, but I know a lot of us don't really pay attention to the smaller weights. But Daigo Higa, he had 3 title shots consecutively. I'm talking about back-to-back like a Drake song.
Oh, man.
The man fought Yoshiki Takei for his WBO belt. Then he fought Seiya Susubi for his WBA belt. And then he turned around and fought Antonio Vargas for his WBA belt. No one said anything then. Did he deserve 3 back-to-back title shots consecutively? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that these things happen. So you got to be careful, because if you start getting mad at one, then you got it for the sake of consistency. You're going to be mad a whole lot in boxing. So I'm not justifying Jermell Charlo. I am justifying it.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that it can be justified, and there's justification for him being as accomplished as he is, being a former undisputed champion, being that his last fight he only lost to the current face of boxing while moving up. I think if anybody deserves a title shot, it's Jermell Charlo. And not to mention that he is very fan friendly, and he does have a big fan base. So a lot of people are going to want to see Jermell Charlo back in the ring. And Abass Baraou is beneficial for him as well, because this will be his biggest fight that he's been involved in, which will also turn into the biggest money that he's probably ever going to earn, you know what I'm saying? Or that he's ever earned to this date. I'm not going to say that he's ever going to earn, but this will be the biggest bag that he's ever acquired to this date. So I'm sure that he'll be excited for this fight too. So I'm not mad at it from that standpoint, but I do understand based on merit and based on rankings, like it's like, hold on now, you know, Jermell Charlo just coming back, he's getting a title shot. But you know what they say though, the WBO is what Bob orders, you know, top rank Bob Arum. They say the WBA is what benefits Al, right? PBC Al Heyman. So this is for the WBA belt, you know, 154-pound division, and Jermell Charlo is a PBC Al Heyman fighter. So, you know, these things happen. Let's not act like these sanctioning bodies don't work more closely with certain promotional companies than others. Like I said, the WBO is known for, you know, accommodating Bob Arum. The WBA is known for accommodating Al Heyman. You know, these are just little funny things to talk about, but yeah, it is what it is, man. But hey, money's gonna move, always gonna move the needle. And Jermell Charlo is somebody that people watch, and he's a very good fighter, you know. So this fight is gonna be great. I have not seen a date announced yet, an official date, but we'll see. You know, I'm pretty sure that these things will get ironed out, especially once we get closer to Terrence Crawford versus Saul Canelo Alvarez, man. So I'm looking forward to the Cinnamon versus Bud fight. I still have Cinnamon winning this one, but it's gonna be a great fight, man. Two phenomenal fighters. I love it, man. But speaking of this 154-pound division, it's exciting, man. Everybody, everywhere you turn it, I really think that 154-pound division has the most depth, has the most parity, and anybody could go at any given moments, man. So I'm very excited for the 154-pound division. Even though Yoenis Tellez has taken a step back, the fact that Abass Baraou took a step up, they just swapped, you know what I'm saying? So it's just so deep, man. Anybody mix it up at 154, whether it's Xander Zayas, Virgil Ortiz, Jermell Charlo, Terrence Crawford coming back down, Abass Baraou, Yoenis Tellez trying to bounce back, Charles Conwell. There's so Sebastian Fedora. There's so many fighters and opportunities there. I just love 154-pound division, so you can't go wrong, man. So shout out to them. It's getting deeper, it's getting more excited as the days go on, and this is what boxing should be like, you know, the 154-pound division, you know what I'm saying? And if they do fight Abass Baraou and Jermell Charlo, it's going to be even more interesting because Jermell Charlo has been so inactive. I'm gonna be honest, no disrespect to Baraou. I like Baraou a lot. Like I said, the fighter representing Togo and Germany, right? I really do like him, but if Jermell Charlo is on his A game, I think that he will be the heavily favorite. But this is another opportunity for Abass Baraou to upset the apple cart, right? So I'm sure he loves that underdog position, man. Hey, keep counting people out. That just adds more motivation, especially if you're already disciplined. That motivation is just going to put you over the top. So I'm looking forward to this one. I'm not mad at it at all. Let me know if you're mad at it and tell me why, man. Don't forget to smack that like button, but most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. How you like the intro too? I know you rocking with it. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Appreciate the support. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.